Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee with Kem Hills. It's a new week.
Good morning. More coffee.
Yep, more iced coffee. Mm-hmm. Jingle, jingle. It's a nice sound, nice ring to it. What do y'all drink? Do you drink iced or hot? Like my husband, it's funny, no matter how hot it is, he still wants a hot cup of coffee in the morning. Like I think he associates it with, I don't know. Like that's what you do.
It depends. Mornings, if I'm getting my own coffee, like making it at home, I want it hot, but I also add enough milk that it's like basically lukewarm anyway.
It's like, yes, a nice lukewarm coffee.
Which other people are like, ooh, you should get the Ember mug. Like it keeps it hot. I'm like, no, I'm cool. Like I like it at a drinkable temperature all the time.
Yeah, you gotta get it down.
Yeah. But if I'm getting a coffee someplace, especially during the summertime, iced all the way. Like,
I can't be fussed to make the iced coffee at home. I think that's what it is.
I also feel like when I pour it over ice at home, it doesn't taste the same.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. All probably not real things, but just like my perception is that it just doesn't taste as good. So I want that cup of coffee.
To me, it's like too much planning. Like I feel like I'd have to make it and then like put it in the fridge the night before or something. And then
I didn't even think about that.
You know, it would be nice. Because if you pour it over ice, it just like melts and then you just put more ice. And that's
probably why
it's like water coffee.
Yeah. And we need the real stuff.
Strong coffee.
Exactly.
Seriously. Was your weekend okay?
Weekend was good. It was very busy. I mean, I feel like every weekend is busy, but...
Love a busy weekend. A busy summer weekend.
Exactly what you want to be doing.
Yeah.
But the public pool is finally open near us.
Yeah.
So we went swimming.
That's great.
Which was really exciting.
Yeah.
And like, it's really nice because they go in spurts of like an hour or like 50 minutes. So you can get into the pool right as the hour changes. Right. And then they kick everybody out for 10 minutes.
Oh.
So like the lifeguards have a break every hour, I guess.
Okay.
And so at that point we're like, well, time to go home. Everybody has to get out of the pool.
Oh, that's a really good,
nice. Because we'll stay in the pool the entire hour. My daughter will swim the entire hour.
That's just to be young.
Yeah, right? I mean, luckily I can stand in a pool for an hour, but, you know.
Totally.
I don't want to
do just like swimming and playing for an hour to be 4 again.
Right? Exactly.
Sounds nice, though. It's nice to have a pool.
It is.
Nice to have pool access.
Mm-hmm. Pool access. I do not want to own one.
Yeah, it's a lot of upkeep, I hear.
Yeah.
I mean, in my dreams, you know, and you have somebody that you pay that comes in my dreams.
When you've won the Mega Millions, then you can have a pool.
Which, yes, this is a great segue into our first hot topic. Okay, so as the Mega Millions hits 1 billion, winning doesn't mean a happy ending.
That's
true. From the Washington Post. We've actually talked about this before. I think
we have.
Yeah, there's a lot. It's hard to find any topics that we haven't touched on before over here. But I mean, I kind of understand like the psychology of it. I mean, it would send you into a spiral, I think, if you won that amount of money. And if you were quick to act, I mean, I wouldn't trust my like immediate instincts. I would be like, give it time, I say.
Totally. Well, and I think that we've talked about the differences in mindset of windfall money versus money earned.
Yeah.
And how it's so much easier to spend that like windfall money. You're like, this isn't real. Like not that I didn't deserve it, but like.
But if you work for it, when you spend it, you feel that more. There's more impact. There's more weight. Like, I completely get that. But if you just, like, win it, you know, if you found $100 on the street, you're like, oh, let's go, like, do something fun tonight, you know?
Let's go get a break.
You aren't like, I'm going to put this in my 401k.
Right.
You know? It's just not how you think.
I remember when I was first working retail, like, during college, and I would literally be like, okay, I would go to Trader Joe's and spend, like, $20 for a week's worth of groceries, and like that would be my lunch and dinner.
Yep.
And
thank you, Trader Joe's.
Yeah, thank you, TJ's. Because I was like very adamant that I wanted to bring my lunch every day, because if I bought lunch at the mall, it was, you know, I was like, that's the equivalent of 2 hours of work. So like, that's like, what's the point?
Yep.
I'm not doing that.
Yep.
So I saved a lot of money that way, but you know, missed out on some good mall food. I don't know if that's a thing.
I actually like mall food.
I know, some of them are really good.
What is that about? Something about like, I don't know.
Greasy, salty food.
Yeah, like a Pizza Hut in the mall is like different than a Pizza Hut like
Hot dog on a stick.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you can't find that anyplace else. It's so great.
Yeah, pregnant woman's dream. Okay, but this Mega Millions, 29 consecutive draws have come and gone since April 15th. What? Yeah. I didn't even know this was happening. I'm so glad that my husband didn't, because he would be out there buying tickets.
I bought a ticket.
I don't blame you. After reading the article, I was like, we should be buying tickets. Yeah. Why not?
I only bought one because I'm like, your odds are 1 in 302 million because of all the people playing at this point. Yeah. So, not high anyway, which is fine. And I was like, doesn't hurt. $2 does not hurt.
Mm-hmm. It's funny because now, because people saw like this big ticket number, more people are rushing to play. They're like, oh, I want that billion.
Exactly.
But I keep thinking, I'm like, if it was like, 100 million, I mean, why aren't you rushing for that?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I know you lose a lot in taxes. What does they say? Estimated cash payout would be $602.5 million.
Mm-hmm. That's if you take the lump sum. You can get it over.
You can take it over
time, and
don't you get more?
You will technically get more over time, but there is like 2 ways of thinking about it. If you get the lump sum, then you could invest it yourself, and then therefore gain that return on the money that way.
I feel like I don't know if I would trust that like something wouldn't happen. Like they'd be like, "Oh, sorry, the money's gone."
Yeah, I mean that's a fair like concern.
But then again, you could invest it and it could be gone as well. So,
or like some of the unlucky people who have won the lottery, as we read about in the article.
Yeah.
Jonathan Vargas won $35 million in 2008. He was only 19 when he won that money. And he spent some of it on creating a women's wrestling league called Recessions. And then he went bankrupt.
Oh no. Poor kid.
So, that's fun.
Yeah, you kind of don't want to like win it when you're sort of exploring what you want to do still.
Right.
Especially like at 19. Like it's,
right.
Yeah, I feel like now would be a great time to win it, I think, in my life. But yeah, maybe not when I was 19.
I think one of the winners who spent all their winnings said, and had some really good advice, was similar to that, like to get it and then set it aside for a year before you make any decisions.
Yep, I think I wrote that down as a reminder to myself in case I ever win the lottery. I was like, just pretend it's not there for a year and just process the winnings. I thought this was really interesting and depressing. Evelyn James won the New Jersey lottery twice in 1985 and 1986. Like, how lucky could you be? That's a total of $5.4 million. And by 2012, her winnings were completely spent on gambling and bad investments.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
You win twice. You're that lucky.
Right.
Don't screw that up.
Yeah.
Ugh, that's gotta hurt.
Yeah. So get a financial advisor, get a financial attorney so that you can have people who are giving you the right advice. Make sure they're vetted if you do get into a windfall like this.
Yes. Yeah. And be careful, because didn't someone hire a hitman?
Yes.
Someone's brother hired
a Pennsylvania gentleman.
Yeah.
His brother hired a hitman.
So be careful who you ask advice from, because he wanted to get his brother's money, right? Mm-hmm. So that's horrible. I read that and I was like, savage. Okay, well, we're going to take a quick commercial break, but we have more hot topics for you, so stick around. Welcome back, everyone. We have another hot topic with our cold coffee, and we need to cool down because this is not like the most fun topic, but we keep coming back to it because, alas, here we are.
It's top of mind for everybody, I feel like. If you're paying attention to the news, the market.
If you get gas or, you get groceries.
Yeah, right.
Is a recession looming? Why history says we shouldn't panic. This is from Kiplinger. Okay, well, the United States has experienced 19 recessions throughout history, 14 in the last 100 years.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
There were only 5 in the previous 100 and almost 50 years we've been a country.
Right. I know. I thought these numbers were really interesting. I also thought it was interesting that recessions vary in length and severity, but they usually last just under a year on average. For some reason, I just picture like a recession being like this really like long time period.
Well, I think one of the biggest ones that people always come back to is the Great Depression,
right?
Which did last and was extended for, I don't even know, but like a really long time,
right?
Like 6 to 8, 10 years almost. Basically, it wasn't until we got into World War II that it was really that pulled us out of it.
Yeah.
So I'm not a historian. I like history, but I don't know the actual answer there.
We're gonna do drunk history with Hillary one of these days. Yeah, that would be drunk financial history with Hillary. I'll pour the shots.
I'll drink them down. As long as it's not tequila.
But I guess they feel long as well because like there's the recovery period, right? It's like you're in the hole, now you got to get out of it.
Right. But I do think it's interesting. You typically don't know you're actually really in one.
Yeah, the article pointed that out. They're like, well,
we could already be in one.
We could be in one right now.
Technically, we are in one.
You don't know until you reflect back on that time. And then you're like, oh yeah, that was a recession.
Yeah.
But I also think that's partly because like, you know, people don't want to say you're in a recession too.
Right.
It's like...
Yeah.
Better for our psyches if we don't use that word.
Yes. So, what is a recession?
What is a recession? Did I write down the definition? Did you?
I did.
Tell us what it is.
A recession is 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP. And GDP is gross domestic product, which is a measure of the monetary value of final cost of goods and services that are produced by a country typically.
Yes, okay.
And we typically look at GDP by quarter or on the annual basis. And technically the first 2 quarters of 2022, we have had negative GDP.
So technically, we're in a recession. The word that shall not be used.
Right.
Well, it said signs of a recession, that a recession is coming, is rising interest rates, high inflation, and negative yield curve. So,
yeah, all those things.
So all the things we are experiencing. It's not funny, really.
I mean, I do think it's interesting going back to the fact that we've had 19 in the last 100 years, and 3 of them I can remember vividly, like the dot-com bubble, the 2008 recession, and then also, I mean, if we're in one now, like,
It's right there at the forefront of your memory.
Right. It's right here. It feels very present and happening. I don't know about you guys, but... But I think that that's an interesting thing. I think one of the other things the article points out is that it's actually a normal part of a business cycle. So it's actually... Though it doesn't feel great.
Right.
It's not necessarily a super negative thing, and it's a normal thing.
Right. They said oftentimes the economy comes back stronger after a recession. So if we can all sort of like keep our eye on the prize with that. You know.
Exactly.
Well, okay, so the article suggests to look to your short-term assets because they might be useful if you are in a recession, which we might just be.
We might just be.
So look to your cash, your prepaid expenses, and your short-term investments so that you're not pulling from your long-term investments.
Right.
If you can, right?
It also says if you can prepare for a recession ahead of time, like you see the first signs of you know, things happening like high inflation or interest rates going up, to start preparing for having more money socked away in your emergency fund so that you don't, to that point again, you don't necessarily have to go into your long-term investments.
Yeah.
But you can let those long-term investments continue to play out, especially if you have time between now and retirement.
This is why we talk about the emergency fund, right?
Yes. This is why it always comes back to the emergency fund.
These are the times. We're literally in them right now. Okay, they also talked about your investment portfolio, looking at it and potentially changing your investments to companies that sell products people need right now, food, gas, rather than maybe luxury goods or electronics, because people might not be putting so much into, if we're in a recession, they might not, people might not be going for the Gucci bag. I don't know.
But then we're talking about people going to Europe and going to spend money on their luxury goods. So it's so hard. Everything's so wonky these days.
It's literally a gamble. Yep. And unless you're the person from Illinois that did, which we didn't talk about earlier, someone did actually win the Mega Millions.
Yes.
So, recession isn't going to be hurting them.
No, probably not.
Ever.
I mean, as long as they make the right financial decisions with their money.
That's true.
Maybe they set it aside for a year or let it grow, and maybe they'll even get in on the down cycle of the market.
I mean, well, they're close to like $1.5 billion. That's going to be really hard. Like, you could mess up so many times and you'd still be so rich, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, I think, but like, I guess people do crazy things, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess, they're very lucky in this climate. They're like, oh, this is the best time to be winning this. It's someone from Illinois, I guess?
Somebody from Illinois won, yes.
Yeah. Well, cheers to you. Congratulations. How nice to be alive.
How nice to be so lucky.
How nice to be so lucky. Yeah, I don't need to be so dark. How nice to be alive in these dark times after winning the lottery. Okay, well, we're going to take a quick commercial break, but we will be right back to talk about the shows airing today on ROI TV. Hello, everyone. I just wanted to remind you not to miss today's episodes of Your Money, Your Wealth, ETF Stories, and Life's Third Act. As always, you can catch them all on ROI TV. Where?
On Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, or on your device, whether it's an Apple or Android. We are also available on Distro TV, so you can download that on any of your devices and watch us there. Just check us out under the business section.
The business section. Noted. All right, thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Coffee with Kem Hills. We'll see you tomorrow with another big old cold cup of coffee.